Hi, and welcome to my channel, Shades of Sage, where I discuss all things motherhood. My name is Hashima. I'm a doula, chef, and mama of 5, and today I'm talking all about why I decided to have a home birth for my last pregnancy and for my last birth. So for those who are just joining and stopping by, thank you so much and welcome, and let's get right into it. So my last pregnancy journey was quite a roller coaster. I have some videos on this channel talking about everything that I went through and all of that in order to get my vaginal birth after 2 cesareans. But my number one reason that I chose a home birth is because I wanted the freedom. I wanted absolute and total freedom of everything. And I knew that that was going to be hard to do in the hospital because I have given birth 4 times before, all in the hospital. And, I just had to fight so much for everything that I wanted. And this time around, or last time around, I did not want any of that. I didn't want to ask for certain things that I needed from the doctors or, the nurses. And I didn't want to, I didn't want to have to answer to anyone. So that is the top reason why I decided to have a home birth. Now, I labored at home the whole entire time for my last labor and delivery, but I ended up going to the hospital for the pushing stage. And if you want to see the reason why, you can check out my birth story on that. So I did deliver technically at the hospital, but I was able to do everything here at home, and my birth was an unassisted birth. And so that's one of the main reasons why, is because I wanted freedom. So I wanted freedom of movement, I wanted the freedom to eat, I wanted the freedom to use the bathroom whenever I wanted to, and I had to unplug and all of this other stuff. And the main thing really is that I really wanted my vaginal birth after my 2 cesareans. So my OB practice was not supportive of that at all, and they made that very clear. And it really wasn't even until the end that I revealed to them my plans to have a vaginal birth. From there, it just kind of was like, it was just kind of like a mental load of them telling me everything, why I shouldn't do it and things like that. But I was really firm in my decision to do it and my body's capability to do it. And so I just took matters into my own hands pretty much for the whole entire pregnancy, but especially during that last month. So yes, number one was freedom. All right. And so the next thing that I want to say, or one of the main reasons and one of the benefits actually of having a home birth, is the freedom of movement. And that is just being able to move however your body is feeling instinctively that it wants to do. And this is so key for a vaginal birth or birth at any period. Just being able to move the way that your body needs to move, a lot of times it's the way that your baby needs to go in order to be born vaginally. So, I have had 2 VBACs before, but like I said, they were in a hospital setting, and I have done it, all times without an epidural. So I had movement, or I was able to move, in a lot of different positions, but still my movement was restricted. And that is another reason why I did not want to give birth in a hospital. I did not want to labor in a hospital. In a hospital, standard procedure is to be hooked up to an IV. And then if you're on any other medications, that's hooked up on your IV as well. They usually have you on a contraction monitor. They usually have you on a heart rate Doppler, to monitor baby's heart rate and everything like that. So you got those bands strapped on your belly. So a lot of times it's hard to move around in the bed with those bands on. And then God forbid they go off for any reason, or there's any kind of disruption or problem with the baby, and then they're running into the room to readjust you on the monitor. So I did not want that. I wanted to be able to move freely and be able to go more than just those few little feet around my bed. And so that is another reason why I chose to have a home birth. The next reason, like I was kind of saying before, is I didn't want all of that monitoring. I did not. I actually went the whole last month of my pregnancy without seeing the OB. And again, if you want to know the reason for all of these things, because it may sound strange, it may sound far-fetched, it may sound a little bit crazy, then you can check out my other videos. But yes, I did not want to be monitored. At that point, I was doing my own prenatal appointments, and I just really trusted in my body and trusted in God. Like, I cannot say any of this or leave God out of it, because he was a major and a big part of the decisions that I made and why I was successful. I will always say that forever. But I didn't want to be monitored in all of these things, because I just know that certain monitoring that they do, that standard procedure, again, for a hospital, some of it does not technically lead to better outcomes just because you're being monitored. And actually, some of the monitoring is counterproductive and leads to worse outcomes for mom and baby, or leads to C-sections in and of itself. And so I knew I just didn't need all of that stuff in my head and in my brain. Now again, I have been through this process 4 times before, so I know what to expect. I know what they're going to do, what they're going to want to do, and just how hard I would have to fight to say, no, I don't want this done, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do that. And again, mentally, I just did not want to go through all of that stuff this time. And so I did not feel the need to have a contraction monitor. I just trusted my body that my contractions were doing what it needed to do to help me to dilate, to help my baby to come down, to be born vaginally. I did not need the heart rate monitor. I actually did have that, a fetal Doppler at home, so that we can monitor ourselves here at home. And I will be doing another video about supplies for a home birth, because I do think that's important if you're someone who is pregnant or you plan to be in the future and you plan on having a home birth. Like I said, mine was unassisted, so there technically wasn't a like midwife present, but we still were able to navigate everything and check on baby safety, throughout the course of labor, and my safety and my health as well. So yeah, I didn't need all the extra monitoring, didn't need it, didn't want it, and I felt personally it was unnecessary for me. So the next thing that I really loved about laboring at home was the freedom to eat and drink as I needed to, what I needed to, and all of that stuff. Like I'm telling you, it was such a great experience just to be able to say, like, if I want some grapes, I can go get me some. Like if I want, a little pick me up, I need something sweet, then I can, get myself that as well. There was nobody telling me, no, you cannot eat. There was nobody telling me, no, you cannot have water. All you can have is ice chips. Let me tell you, labor is such a physical event, and moms need all the strength that they can get for the laboring process, and then of course for the pushing part of labor. And so when you have moms that are not eating, they're hungry, they're thirsty, they're tired, all of those things can factor into them having a birth experience that is not optimal, or something that they may not have wanted to be done or happen, because all these other factors are playing against them. So I was able to rest when I needed to. I was able to eat exactly what I wanted at the time that I wanted. I was able to have more than ice chips. Like I had juice, I had apple juice, I had some tea, I had some, if you're somebody that likes to stay hydrated, by Gatorade, you can have Gatorade. And it was just, again, the freedom to be able to eat what I wanted. And if there wasn't something there, I had people that could go out and go get me exactly what I wanted and needed at that time. Now I didn't eat that much during my last labor. Like I said, I just really listened and trusted my body when it came to eating. So I think I had pretty much like a normal breakfast that I always would have, sausage and eggs, and coffee as well. But as labor progressed, and as my body was getting more and more intense contractions, I kind of slowed down on my eating naturally on my own. But again, I had all of that energy stored up. I had my breakfast, I had the things that I was eating, that I was snacking on, just to keep something in my belly to keep me going, especially like some sugar and some good healthy fats and proteins. And it was just amazing. And yeah, I absolutely loved that part. Now again, for my hospital births, I am a very outspoken person, so even though they may have said not to eat, or even though they may have told me not to eat, I still ate. For all of my births, all of my deliveries, I still did eat, because you need the energy. But so that wasn't a problem. But this time it was just really nice to have everything that I needed here. And I did a little quick grocery run before I went into labor, so everything was fine. It was perfect. But yes, that is another reason why I chose my home birth, because I didn't want to deal with issues concerning eating and drinking. So another reason why I decided to have a home birth, and the one that just was really the icing on the cake of giving birth and laboring at home, was just being surrounded by everyone that I wanted to be here. So everyone that I wanted to be here was here. My mom was here, my sisters was here, my children were here. I even had some of my brothers here to help out. And it was just so beautiful to just be surrounded by my loved ones, and actually have my children take part in my birth. I thought that was so special. That is something that I will always remember forever. And when Alma gets older, I will tell her, look, I had people squeezing my hand, and your sister was here, and she read her affirmation cards that she wrote for me to you. And it was just really nice. It was really nice to have everybody here and involved and be able to take part of my birth. Now when you give birth in a hospital, you usually can have your partner there, and maybe one other support person. If you have one of those hospitals that recognize doulas and our importance, then they can be they're not counted as the extra person. So you could have your spouse or your partner, you can have that extra support person, and you can have your doula. So up to 3 people if you're by a hospital that's, doula friendly. But most people can only pick, one or two people to be in there with them, and they may want more people in there, or it may be like you may want your mom in there and the mother-in-law in there, but you can't invite everyone, so it was just really nice to be surrounded by whoever I wanted to be there. That was really nice, more than just the standard 2 or 3 people. So yeah, that was definitely another benefit to birthing and laboring at home. And so another good reason, or another reason why I decided to have a home birth, is to just be free of the time restraints. When you're in the hospital, even though they may not say it, you are on the clock. You are on the clock. They have time metrics for everything. How fast you dilate until you're in active labor, how fast you dilate until you're in pushing stage, how quick you can push your baby out. They're on the clock with everything. If your water is broken, they want you to deliver within 24 hours. It's just so much, I feel like, going against you if you're trying to have a natural vaginal birth, if you're trying to have if you're trying to have a physiological birth. And it's just like, no, labor takes whatever time it needs to take, whatever time it takes, or for that, baby to get in that right position, or for you to fully dilate. You shouldn't have time restraints. Now, I know a lot of these practices are put in place for safety reasons, so they say, and all of that, but at the end of the day, the hospital is a business, and a lot of times, and I hate to say it, a lot of times it's about money, and time is money, and so they're just trying to get you in and out of there. My last labor, I actually thought it would be fast, right? Because it was my 5th birth. I've done this many times before, but it was not fast. And I do believe that if I was in a hospital setting, it would have pushed so many unnecessary procedures on me. I think from start to finish, or from the first contraction until my baby was completely born, was about 32 hours for me, 32 or 36, and that's not a short amount of time. That's kind of a lengthy amount of time. And I did have some parts of labor where I could feel like labor lulled a little bit, and I just needed that extra push or that change of position or whatever to get into to get my body to continue to progress and dilate and all that. But it's normal for it to take a long time. It's actually normal for labor to stop for a certain amount of time and then continue, and it's not a problem with that. It's just that the body knows what to do. The body knows when mom needs a break from labor. The body knows when baby needs a break from labor. And you will have that kind of, stop or lull in labor while your body catches up and gives you some rest and all of that before you begin the next stage of labor. But in a hospital setting, it's kind of like, oh, labor has stopped. Labor has slowed down. Now we need to give you something to speed it back up again, or, get to that next stage. And sometimes it's not what's best for mom and baby. And so, yes, that's another reason why I chose a home birth. It's just to be free from time restraints. Like, my water broke on its own at home, and technically if I was in a hospital, they would have wanted that baby born the next day. She did not come the next day. She came the day after. So she came when she was ready. I went into labor on my own. So it was completely and totally when she was ready. There was no Pitocin to speed up my labor and make my contractions stronger or anything like that. I just completely trusted my body and my baby, and we had the best outcome possible. And then the last reason that I chose a home birth, or why I loved having a home birth, was comfortability. I wanted to be comfortable, and where else to be, or where are you more comfortable but your own place or your own house? And that to me was, it was so nice. I even remember getting to one point in labor where I just really was really feeling discouraged, really feeling just overstimulated, and I just had to get away from everybody. And I was able to come up here in my room and lay in my bed, and that was a game changer for me. And it was something that I just feel really helped me to get to that next stage of labor that I needed to get to give me that boost, and all of that. And I was able to just lay in the bed and rest, and it was nice and cool in here, and it was just amazing. But in the hospital, you don't have that. Now, you can make the room as personable as you want. Bring your own covers or your own pillows, your own gown if you want to, your own fairy lights and stuff like that, or your own scents. But it's still the hospital. No matter how you dress it up, how pretty it is, and how, personal you can make the room, at the end of the day, it's a hospital with a whole bunch of hospital things, going on, and there's bells ringing and extra lights and all of that stuff, especially when it comes time to actually push your baby out. And it's just informal, you know. But being at home was not. It was like everything that I needed. I knew where to get it. I knew where it was. I could sit on my couch. I could lay on my couch. You know, I had all of the clothing I needed. I didn't have to worry about anything like that. And it was just, yeah, it was just really nice to have everything at my fingertips. You know, when you go to the hospital sometimes, especially, oh my gosh, especially for my first and second birth, like I forgot to bring a couple of things. Now, of course, you can go to the store or, you know, have someone else bring it with you, but it's just like an added extra you know, aggravation just to not have that thing that you really need or that you really want at that time that you need it or want it. But here at home, there was no issues with that. So I was very, very comfortable, able to prop up with pillows and blankets and my robe and my, you know, soft slippers. It was amazing. And of course, I got to dress however I wanted. So that was really nice. And so yes, those are my reasons. I think those are all of my reasons. But if I forget, I can add some more down in the description box. Honestly, it was just such a great experience to be here in labor and at home in my own, you know, environment. It was nice. It was nice, you know. And, you know, when you're a laboring mom, labor mom needs to be comfortable. She needs to be comfortable. She needs to feel safe. Her baby needs to feel safe in order for labor to happen, to progress, and all of that. And so yeah, being at home for me was just, it was really, really nice. And so that is my experience. Those are the reasons, some of the reasons, my top reasons why I decided to have a home birth. If you have had a home birth in the past, let me know, you know, what were some of the things that you really, really enjoyed about that process. If you're planning one, you know, or you hope to have one in the future, let me know also, you know, if you would, the things that you really would like or enjoy about having a home birth. I think that's all for today. Like I said, don't forget to check out some of the other videos. I will link them below as well for you to watch if you are interested. But thank you for watching this one today. Remember to let your story be your power, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.